Hello and welcome to this video lesson on how to play the tune Swinging Safari on the guitar. Now, usually with these videos I start with the easy version and move on to the hard, but I'm going to do that the other way around today. I'm going to show you the advanced version first. There's two sheets for this tune. On the second sheet you've got some help with the advanced version. It says advanced version information. Basically you're using three chord shapes. A D, a special G chord which is like an F shape moved up 2 frets, and an A. Now the D is the standard D chord for the guitar, so it's first finger behind the second fret of the G, second finger behind the second fret of the E, third finger behind the third fret of the B, and the D string is open. Now the G chord, to change to it from the D, slide your second finger up to the third fret, put your first finger behind the third fret of the B and your third finger behind the fourth fret of the G. Okay, if you're strong enough you might be able to flatten your first finger over 2 strings behind the third fret, put the second finger behind the fourth fret of the G. But if you're a younger person I would advise using 3 fingers. The A chord is a simplified version of the full A chord. You've got first finger behind the second fret of the G, second finger behind the second fret of the B, and open E. And all these notes are written in my code, so the number is the fret and the letter is the string, and if it's a little e, it's the E string nearest the floor. The tiny numbers underneath remind you of your left hand fingers if you're right handed, and vice versa if you're left handed. I've said sometimes the notes are played without holding down any chord shape. That's because a lot of the song is played like that, holding the chord shape down, but not always, and I'll get to that as we go through the tune. Also I've said I suggest that you pick the strings as follows: G string with the thumb pushing downwards, B string with the first finger pulling upwards, and E string with the second finger pulling upwards like this. So that's a finger picking way of doing it. I'm actually going to show you using a plectrum, but you can do either of course. So go back to the other page now where it says Swinging Safari Advanced Version with a swing. Use chord shapes where possible, and every time you see an oblique stroke or a slash, that shows you've got to change your chord shape, and it's not always where you think you're going to have it. You've got a couple of bars of drums to start with, that's why it says drums underneath the counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the count after 4, in other words, before the first beat of that third bar, you play your first note. So what you've got here is a D chord, and you can see it says 2G, 3B, 2E, 2G, 3B, 2E, all those notes found in the D chord. Picking wise I would go up on the G string and then down on the B and the E. Now you've got an oblique stroke there, so you change shape, and you change shape to your second shape, which is the G chord, and it starts on 4G, carries on the next line, 3B, 3E, 4G, 3B, 3E. So in other words, change the shape, pick the same strings, GB, E, GB, E. Go back to your first chord, the D chord, you've got an oblique stroke there. The oblique stroke that comes up there shows you're changing to another shape, you're changing to your A shape. Picking wise there, I would perhaps go up, down, down. So you'll notice when you change shape, it's not on the first beat of the bar, it's always on the very, very last part of the previous bar. So far we've got same again, and then it's different, isn't it? At the end of the third line you've got now I spoke earlier about some sections of the tune where you don't have the chord shape on. That's obviously one of them. You've got 3E, open E, 2B, 3B without a chord shape on. Then you do the same again. And that is, if you like, your A part of the tune. Okay, so we're now going to deal with the B part of the tune. So on the 7th line down, if you count down, you'll see it says 2E, 3B, 2G, 2E, 5E, 3E. That's the start of the B part. So you can do the first part there, but holding the D shape on. But then obviously when it goes to 5E and 3E, fingers 4 and 2, there's no shape. Picking wise, it doesn't really matter, probably all downstrokes is fine. And then notice you play that 3E again off the beat on that count after the 3. So that's that 7th line there. On the next line, you could loosely hold the D shape down because you've got the 2E and the 3B, and a bit later on you've got the 2G. It's up to you, or you could play it to single notes. I think it's easier to hold the D shape down. Obviously don't forget to lift it to get the open G. Then the same as before. And then this next line, got that kind of bluesy note, that F, first fret of the E string. And obviously there's no shape. Same again. And then, like it says, repeat the whole page from the diamond. That's right up the top, but obviously you don't have the 2 bars of drums coming in off the beat. So the whole page, and then repeat from the diamond down to the asterisk, and then you finish up by playing. As it says 3 times. So some of that is quite easy, some of it's quite tricky. If you prefer to finger pick it, use your thumb and your fingers to pick the strings, that's fine. So let's deal with the easier version now, and that's on the other page. It's on the page that's headed Swinging Safari Advanced Version Information. But if you look a little way down the page, it says Swinging Safari Easy Version. And if you want a very, very easy version, you just play the underlined notes. With this version, it's very simple. If the note is on the 1st fret, use your 1st finger. If the note is on the 2nd fret, use your 2nd finger. And if the note is on the 3rd fret, use your 3rd finger. And it says use rest strokes or a plectrum. If you're not sure what a rest stroke is, it's one of these things where you pluck the string with a fairly upright finger, come to rest on the string above. But these days I'm recommending that you use a plectrum. If it says that a note is played off the beat, it's simply play it a bit earlier than you perhaps would. Let me give you an example of that. Let's play the first 2 lines. See that note I played there, and I nodded forward there. That 3 beat is off the beat, comes a bit earlier, doesn't it? And this is pretty straightforward to follow. Just look along the lines. You've got notes on beats 1 and 3 mainly, apart from those off-beat notes. And you've got the verse, and you've got the middle section, and you repeat the verse and the middle section, the verse and so on. And the coda is just... like that, see? Repeated. So this is fairly meaningless without the track. So I'm going to play along with the track for you now, and you'll hear how these notes go along with that. A couple of bars of drums. Here we go. Is the off-beat note coming up now? Same again. Section. fades out on the drums. Let's give you a bit of a flavour of the very easy version where I'm just playing the notes that are underlined. Coming up then, so 3B, and again, but every 8 beats basically you play a 3B. Doesn't get much easier, does it? Section, do the same thing on 2E. Play every 8 beats. 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on. There is also a video that we filmed about 9 years ago of me and a very silly toucan. So check that out. It's quite a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy playing this piece.